Adidas or Nike?
Nike.
What would you call this chapter of your life?
Oh my god. I'm 36 and I feel like midlife crisis is coming, so I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay. Winter or summer?
Summer.
Paris or London?
That's tricky because I ask myself that all the time. Paris for the weekend, London for the week.
That is a great shout. Favorite superhero?
I like Thor and I'm looking forward to female Thor.
Yes, yes. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
That's a great question. My first instinct would be maybe to fly, but I think now my superpower would be to give women equality.
Wow! This interview can stop right here. We've got enough. So obviously I met you a few months ago now, like a couple of months ago, and you told us about how you design the shoes for Louis Vuitton and Puma, Nike, and all the amazing brands, and you're also trying to help with equality and sustainability. What would you say you do?
I usually say I'm a footwear and accessory designer that is focused on responsible design. The word sustainability is kind of overused, and now we're all going to be talking about greenwashing. If you're producing new product, you're not being sustainable. People say, the most sustainable outfit is the one you're already wearing. The whole equality thing and voice for women is something that is inherent to my work, and it's probably why I got into sneakers, because I noticed that I was about around your age, women were supposed to start wearing heels to go to job interviews, and we had to look a certain way to be taken seriously. And I was like, well, I like wearing sneakers. I like to be comfortable. I want to be able to run around, to draw, to paint, to do whatever. And why do I have to dress a certain way to be taken seriously in a way that is essentially uncomfortable? And once I entered the industry, I noticed that the way they were doing product for women in sneakers was shrink it and pink it. So meaning they would take a shoe for men and then they would make it in a smaller size and make it pink because women like pink.
Obviously.
Yeah, and just even 15 years ago, introducing the concept of right before everybody started wearing black sneakers with a white sole, telling them that was oh, but no, black, it's seen as something kind of dark and negative, goth, and instead of for me, black is super practical, easy to wear. If you want to have a minimal wardrobe, it goes with everything. If you get dirt on it, it doesn't show. So already these discussions were happening, and I was kind of being portrayed as somebody negative instead of somebody kind of trying to change something. So now since then I've learned to talk about things a little bit more positively and with a little bit less frustration, because that's a better way to get the message around.
But it must be so hard now, especially if you've been saying these things and also showing it through your designs, so you're both doing it in a practical and conversational way. How do you feel now where people are saying things like sustainability and equality and diversity, and it's just a PR stunt? How do you not show your frustration?
When I was young, I would show my frustration, and it really didn't serve me. People are oh, she's annoying, she's too emotional. Although I do think that if you want to be a creative, you have to be emotional, but that's another discussion. If you want to fight for something, you always have to be prepared. So I try to choose my battles, and I try to prepare, and I try to take the emotion out of it. I try to stick to facts. Even though politically we're in a world that is a bit post-fact. I try not to follow that.
If I'm correct, you designed a heeled trainer.
A long time ago, so when I was at Nike, because I was thinking about oh, I need to wear heels to be more of a woman, I was experimenting, and I was it's so painful. Started seeing shoes that had hidden wedges, and I brought the concept to Nike, and they were no, we don't do that. We do athlete shoes, everything is to be for the athlete. At the time, I was kind of met as who is this girl trying to bring fashion into sportswear? And for me, bring fashion into sportswear was a way to bring sort of femininity, storytelling. And what I liked about fashion was also craftsmanship. And then a few years later, they did it. They did, I think it was called the Sky High or something like that? At the time, which was 2005 to 2008, it was very new, and I was kind of seen as a rebel. And because I was young, I did not express myself well enough to, get my point across. And a few years later, they opened the floodgates, and now they do all that fashion stuff. So it's good to see that culture and comfort.
Yeah.
You know, that you can put everything in a shoe.
Together, definitely. You said you go to Nike, you're like, you know, I've got this idea of a heeled wedge. How do you, as like a young creative, get your ideas to like these big brands? You can't guarantee they listen, but how do you guarantee that that idea still stays your idea?
It's a bit complicated. A big company like that is a corporation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decision makers. So there's a lot that is out of your control. But it's always good to sort of have a mini entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
So one way that I had a project succeed was the Nike Skinny Dunk. I don't like the name, I didn't pick the name, but at the time it seemed like a good idea because skinny jeans were, you know, becoming a thing.
Yeah.
It was around 2008. And I was trying to fight for, basically, I loved the Nike Dunk and I wanted a dunk for women. And by that I meant I wanted exactly the same shoe, but just a little bit narrower because women have narrower feet and they have a little bit, you know, narrower silhouettes usually, and I wanted it to be sort of an extension of the leg.
Yeah.
I wanted the shoe to just be more flattering. In order to do that, I found a product manager who was into the idea, and I did a survey. I asked my female friends what they thought, and I created little profiles. So there was a photo, I asked them what kind of shoes they like, what they wanted in shoes, and kind of, you know, created a little presentation to show that women were supporting my idea. And I think that was quite well received. Number one, you know, have some people around you that believe in you and that have a bit of power. So networking within a big company is important. So having coffees with people from different departments, making friendships, seeing, you know, like who shares your values, and even if they don't, you know, getting to know them is a very important part. And then, you know, afterwards, when those people change jobs, it's great to have those relationships. With shoes especially, or, you know, product design, it's all about the consumer, the customer, which is like marketing. And it's, you know, people don't necessarily know what they're going to want in the future, so that's our job to kind of scope them out and figure out what their needs and their wants are going to be for the future and create objects of desires for them. But if we're going to make them want more things, these things then have to be comfortable, and they have to not be harmful to the environment, and they have to last a long time, not only as in terms of quality, but also in terms of it working within their wardrobe for more than 2 months until they're bored. A good shoe, you wear it, I think, for 2 years.
I need to learn that skill. I'm really, really bad at
and you know,
looking after my trainers. Your mindset changed from, this is my idea, you're going to hear it, to this is my idea, let me get market research, let me present it, because companies, corporations want money. So if you can literally present money to them on a plate, your ideas are not more likely to get hurt. So it's amazing to hear like the growth.
And the Skinny Dunk ended up being a great sale. Like, we made it happen, and then it sold more than the regular Dunk. So the proof of concept. Exactly. So that was really great. But yeah, in general, when you approach a project with your customer in mind, when it's not just about something that looks cool or different, you need to inject meaning into it, then you have a better chance of it happening. It doesn't always work, but it's
chance.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And on sustainability, the most sustainable outfit is the one that you're wearing now, and that is like a really good concept. And I've tried to like stop buying clothes. It's really hard with like next day delivery. You have nothing in your wardrobe, but then when you want to travel, you suddenly have too many clothes. How do you think we can like be sustainable while still allowing ourselves to like enjoy new things, or enjoy, and obviously like you design shoes, so you're still like
I think about it every day. Because also my job, the more clients I have, the more my job as a freelancer is good, but that means the more we're producing shoes. So with sustainability, it's super complicated. I'm still working it out. I've noticed that it's the little steps that become a habit. I forgot like how many times you have to do something for it to be a habit, but you know, you start by like, I'm trying to not buying shower gel and getting soaps. So I had to find a soap that, you know, wasn't too dry, and then now it's easy. We're back to having a soap, no problem. So you know, check like just one thing at a time. Like, so I'm trying to use cottons that you can wash in the machine and it's reusable. And sometimes I fail, I don't always do them right. Like, it seems that everything you do for sustainability, if you try to do something right, you notice that you open the door to something else that is wrong. So for your wardrobe, I think it would be really interesting to have a little code of conduct. But number one is look for quality product that will last. I always try to buy 100% cotton t-shirt, for instance. So the problem is cotton is a big problem because it uses a lot of water, and then it's one of the biggest polluter in terms of insect repellent, like pesticides.
Okay.
So cotton is very controversial, and you should find, bio cotton, but again, there's a problem with fair trade. Like, as I said, every step positive that you do, there's some negative.
Step backwards.
But what I like with cotton is it doesn't make me sweat, it washes well, and cotton t-shirt will last a lot longer than a 50% cotton t-shirt that has 50% acrylic in it. It's going to make you sweat, it's going to start. So look for natural fibers in general is what I do, but again, everything
of course.
It's very hard, especially when you're young, because you're experimenting with your style.
Yeah.
I would say when you buy something, really think, do I need it? And really do the Marie Kondo thing, not just does it bring me joy, but does it feel right?
Yeah.
Because there are outfits where you're like, this I'm gonna wear. Consider, buying from brands that are not Primark. I know, it's the same thing. I used to love Primark. It used to be such a joy. And I think we are so addicted to the cheap thrill mentality. But I think it's just be conscious about the things you purchase and really think, how much am I going to wear it? And that's why comfort is important, because if you feel good in a pair of shoes, then you'll wear it every day.
Yeah. Honestly, I bought these for I don't know, £10, £15. I don't even know.
What?
And I basically do wear them every day.
They're great, but how did you?
My mum got them. I think she got them from TK Maxx. And they have been amazing.
But for £10-15, I don't know who makes money from that. But they're great. So I think also disposing of your stuff. If you take care of your stuff and you don't want to wear it anymore, then you can bring it to a charity shop and somebody else will enjoy it. So trying to take care of your stuff
definitely
is important. Don't throw it in the trash.
Yes.
But honestly, it's very hard because, especially being in fashion, I feel I have to represent. So
interesting hearing you be like, I wear 100% cotton, but oh no, that's bad with this, and I try and do this, oh no, but that's bad with this. You can sort of see the way you're thinking about every action you're taking. And I think it's so interesting that you're both a producer and a consumer. The responsibility, if it was going to lie on one side, where do you think it lies to be sustainable? Do you think it's a corporation issue, or it's definitely everyone's role? It's everyone's role.
There's this girl called Lauren Singer, I think, who does a blog called Trash is for Tossers, and she is all about waste-free lifestyle. And she says, it's not about a few people being 100% waste-free. It's about a maximum of people being imperfectly waste-free. Trying to do their best. Corporations will make the efforts if the customer stops buying from them. If you keep buying from them, they will be like, well, customers don't care. The consumer has power by boycotting brands that are not transparent about their practices, and supporting brands that support responsible creation. However, it's super complicated because there's a lot of greenwashing. So the issue is so complicated. And that's where the companies have responsibility, is to not just say whatever to please the customer, but to actually invest in ways to make the product better. And the problem is there's no language of design. You can hold two shoes. I can tell you this one's 100% recyclable. This one is not, and essentially they will look the same. So how do you make it easy for people to understand that they're buying something that is less harmful? I'm talking about it because the first step is to explain to people, look, it's very complicated. And we need to support each other in sharing the information, because that's how we will find out what the best practices are. And people who are living those lifestyles and who are doing the right thing, it's hard for them to give you a list of like, hey, here are the 5 things you can do to hurt the planet less.
We are also connected. Consumers are connected to brands, brands are connected to politics, politics are connected to consumers. So it is like the circle, and it's like, if you do withdraw your power and like maximize your power in whatever way it is, whether it's buying shoes, whether it's not supporting Donald Trump because he said this, like if people actually act, I genuinely do believe that things can change. I think everyone just needs to step up and not push the blame to the other party, because I think that's what we love to do.
But to sum it up, I would say now when you consume, really think about how many wears. Like really think, how does it fit into my wardrobe? If you're buying online, you know, yes, you are using shipping and stuff, but then you can wear it at home, check if it works with the rest of your wardrobe. And to me, that's better. And don't be afraid to wear the same clothes over and over. Wear clothes you love, and if you've got a great jacket, that you know, invest in it, and you're gonna love it so much.
And you'll wear it, and you don't even need to worry about what you're wearing underneath when you have a good jacket. It's so funny because I was going for this party, and I called one friend, and she was like, didn't you wear that last week? And I called the other friend, and then she was like, you post so much on Instagram, no one actually pays attention to what you're wearing anymore. And I was like, we were so rude, but that's so funny that you overconsume to the extent that it doesn't even matter what you're wearing, because it's just you. It's not like style.